It was great catching up with Chris. He's an incredibly hard worker. You could see how he's built his career, and then also how this job has allowed him to come back to Maine and to invest back into some of the dreams he has for his future. And he's just another example of the many people that I've met that are hardworking Mainers working on this important project. I'm Thorn Dickinson. This show allows me to talk with Mainers working on the most important clean energy project to ever come to our state. We discuss how this project is providing jobs and other benefits today while creating clean energy for a better tomorrow.
To me, you know, this wood is so rare to get that I want to be the guy you come to and say, hey, this is what I want in my house. And I sit down with you and I 3D model it and I create it and I say, hey, you know, like that stack of cherry.
You know, if you have your dream in 5, 10, or whatever years, is this become like the possibility of being like your main moneymaker, or do you?
Yes and no. What's great about this project is that it allows me to build my business as I go. Okay, so especially during COVID. If you were a business where you relied on sales or you know, you had payments and you weren't going to survive, I never really wanted to be like that. I wanted to just do it at my own pace. Being on this project allows me to come home, build my business slowly, you know, and that makes it fun still. It doesn't take the fun away.
Now you've heard, you know, some of the people in the opposition talk about, you know, temporary jobs, and obviously, just in talking with you, your career path was really important for you to get where you are and provide for you and your family. Talk a little bit about how that, you know, how you see that.
Well, temporary jobs to me is actually kind of offensive because. You know, when a carpenter builds a house, is that job temporary? No, he moves on to the next one. I believe that the job is as temporary as you want it to be, and that goes in any industry. You know, for me, people looked at the Summit Natural Gas job as temporary. That was my door into the field. You know, 9 years later, here I am. I don't think that that's accurate. I don't think that that's, and it's offensive, you know. It's a great opportunity for somebody to get their foot in the door, see what we do, you know, be held to the standards we're held to. You know, we have a code of excellence that we follow. You have to do things right, and that is your step into the field to learn this stuff. And I think that that's huge. That's not anything to be discounted or looked down upon. This project specifically, apprentices or people that have, you know, I'll use matting, for example, environmental matting. That's an art. It is not easy. Some of the things that we are doing with the matting and how we are creating these areas that we're able to get in and not disturb and use the environmental controls. You know, people up here that have never been around it, they just don't know. You know, Alex, one of my buddies, he's the best I've ever seen. And he's here, and he's home every night. He lives in Turner. You know, that's a huge thing. I haven't worked with him in Maine since 2012.
All right, well, let's, can we take a look at your mill? I'd love to see it.
I actually, I left a piece of black walnut on there.
Oh, great. You know, one of the things as a, you know, it was a really, I know you know about the matting and that we awarded all those contracts.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
That's huge, you know, for those guys and for Ross and Marine, you know, because they own Woodmiser of Maine and their mills are cutting those mats. Actually, my building, all of that clapboard siding is from these poles.
Oh, no kidding. And where do they come from?
These came from the 383, 3023 transmission line we rebuilt from Cooper's Mill up to Orrington. Those are old utility poles.
Oh, no kidding. And the pine, you said, so what will be, how are you thinking about this?
So this is kind of how I decide what I'm going to do with it. The big stuff, I'll make slabs for. So I'll make tables, countertops, shelves. The small stuff, I'll make into building materials. So I'll do like 1-inch boards. All this wood here to the left, this pine, this is from the Horse Point Road in Belgrade. It was an insurance removal. The arborist said, hey, we're in a really tight area. If you can't get these, we're going to have to cut them up into little chunks and haul them off. If you're interested, all you have to do is haul them. You can have them.
So what are we looking at here?
This is a black walnut slab. This was a waste tree. They just wanted it hauled off. Something like this is very rare for the area. This was cut at 2.5 inches thick. This would be great for a shelf or a stair tread or flooring.
At the end of this job, let's say in a few years, you move on to someplace else. Hopefully it's here in Maine. But if it isn't, the money you're earning even away comes back into the state. And of course, for these jobs in Maine, with so many of the people, as you said, more than 80% of the people on the project are here, that those other projects, things that are important in their life, supporting their family, are all going back to the economy here in the state.
And that's huge. And there are a lot of people like me that work on this project, that travel out of state to work, that spend their money here. And I think that there's a lot to be said for that.